Please don't eat me.
Probably. Hey, who's the pig? Are you talking to me?
Uh-oh, they called him a pig.
Are you talking to me?
Shouldn't have done that.
Are you talking to me?
Now they're in for it.
They call me Mr. Pig! Ah!
Episode 3 of the new Mega Evolution coverage in a VGC perspective. First look at the new Mega Evolutions that Pokémon Legends EA has brought to us. And today, one of the starters that the game chose, Mega Emboar. Now, Mega Emboar is one of the Mega Evolutions of the 3 starters Pokémon Legends EA, and it's very peculiar. Now, this is base Emboar. Emboar has always been a Pokémon that was like just about not enough to actually make it. Okay, just about. Look at the stats. The stats are stats of potentially a great attacker. 123 attack and 65 speed. Unfortunately, for some weird, I don't know, probably because Emboar was one of the last starters that was created with a mixed build in mind. I think they stopped doing it completely in 6th gen, where starters were still taught with the original physical and special split in mind. So kinda like Blaziken. Let's pick up Blaziken. Most of you know Blaziken as a physical attacker, close combat, agent kick, flare blitz, but it's actually a mixed attacker, whereas Mega Blaziken tries to kinda fix it, but still is perceived as a mixed attacker. Mostly because the stat distribution needs to be a certain amount, especially for starters, and they didn't wanna do a speedy Pokemon with too much attack and defenses. Unfortunately, original Emboar falls into this category without actually having the perks of actually making the cut. It has Reckless as an hidden ability that got way too late compared to other Pokemon that already had an original ability that was already decent. And despite the stats being decent, it was basically out performed by other either fire or fighting Pokemon such as Conkeldurr, which had an identity, was low, was a Trick Room sweeper, but even outside Trick Room could sweep because of its bulk. And fire types, don't even get me started. Heatran and many others are just better. However, the Mega Evolution, despite adding these 10 useless points in special attack that in my opinion could have been way better in the defense, Mega Emboar has actually the stats to do something actually interesting. Now let's put this to 31, there we go. Because Mega Emboar, as you can see, let's start from the most important stats of them all. Speed, 75 speed. Now 75 speed is an interesting stat. It's 10 points more than 65, but those 10 points make a lot of difference. If we pick up a Pokemon with 75 speed stat, we will find some interesting characters that perhaps some of you may already know. First of all, Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is a Pokemon that has decent bulk and very good special attack, which is very similar to Mega Emboar's current attack, and has the same speed stat. Works well under Trick Room, works well outside Trick Room, because it's so resistant, you cannot take out Raging Bolt in one hit. Let's see other Pokemon. Pharynx 75 speed, which had very decent usage back in the day. We are going to talk about Phalanx too, don't worry. We have Arma Rouge, 75 speed, another Pokemon that outside Trick Room can perform, but also performs well under Trick Room because it's 75 speed. And then you have Heatran, Necrozma Duskmane, and Necrozma Dawnwings, all three of them at 77, and all of these Pokemon perform well in and out of Trick Room. I think you already know where I'm getting with this. This Pokemon, the speed stat, can be either left as is, or can be modified depending on the meta, because it's the perfect speed stat that other Pokemon have used to actually perform well in and out of Trick Room. This Pokemon can threaten both sides of the speed spectrum. Can threaten fast Pokemon, can threaten slow Pokemon, and all is thanks to the bulk. Let's talk about it. 110 HP is a lot. Maximized EVs is 217. This is massive. Mixed with a pretty good special defense, which is like 40 points more than base Emboar, 35 to be precise, and a defense that unfortunately is only 20 points higher, but that's okay. It's bulky enough, and this Pokemon may have the tool to boost up its physical defense as well. Now, aside from the HP stat, the defensive stats in general are good, are solid. This Pokemon will very hardly go down in one hit. It will probably take at least either 2 powerful hits or 3. If I had to think of a way to one-shot this Pokemon, would be Psychic Terrain, Expanding Force from Aterini, Starmie, Mega Starmie. All of that's good stuff, but mostly because Expanding Force is a broken move. But aside from that, I really don't see this Pokemon being knocked down easily. Now, offensive stats. This special attack, although is pretty high to put on perspective, this special attack, it's around the same special stat as Sylveon, as Skeledirge, as Salamence, as Tornadus Therian, as Latias, as Goodra, as Farigiraf. You know, all Pokemon that actually use pretty well their special attack. However, with what Mega Emboar wants to do, we gotta focus on physical attack. Now, there may be in the future, let's see, will there be in the future uses of Mega Emboar as a special attacker? I don't know, because this Pokemon does learn Heat Wave, does not learn Vacuum Wave though. Special attacks on this Pokemon are decently lacking. It learns Scald, it has Focus Blast, Grass Knot, not much as you can see. So despite the decent special attack stat, we gotta focus on the attacking stat, which I am confident it will be fine running at Adamant. We can ignore this, and we can even leave the speed at 31. It's okay. Now, before we talk about the moves, we gotta talk about base Emboar. Ignoring Blaze, which is way too risky to be played in a BGC scenario, Reckless is actually a decent ability. Moves like Flare Blitz, moves like Head Smash, okay? These moves with recoil get powered up, double edge, okay? These moves get powered up by Reckless, okay? Now, it is a very risky playstyle. It deals a lot of damage, but it's very risky, so Emboar needs a lot of support to work. If the Mega Evolution was to maintain Reckless, we'd have some decent problems at actually using this Mega Evolution, because like the other two videos, you don't want your Mega Evolution to go down that easily, because it's pretty much the most important member as per tendentially damage dealing on your party, okay? It's probably the Mega Evolution, or one of the Mega Evolutions, since we talked about double Mega Evolutions in the last video. It's probably one of the most powerful members of your party, and probably the center of the entire team. So you don't want this to go down easily. You may even not bring it in some matchups, yes. Doesn't change the fact that when you bring it, you don't want this Pokemon to go down. Any Mega Evolution. Because you lose an item slot, you lose a power boost that your opponent may still have healthy, so you would be at a disadvantage. So, if Mega Emboar doesn't actually have Reckless, we can talk. Now, Flare Blitz is still there. Like it or not, this is the best Fire-type physical move of the game. You can make an argument for Fire Punch. Do not receive recoil, and count on the bulk that Mega Emboar can use to actually put Emboar on the field. Be confident that will stay there for a prolonged amount of time, and the Fire Punch will be just enough to pick up KOs here and there, chip away your team, and then close it off with either Mega Emboar itself or another attacker on your team. I'd say it's either up to what you're playing with Mega Emboar or the meta. Tendentially, I would suggest Flare Blitz, and then provide support to Emboar in different ways. Different ways that this Pokemon seem to already have within his kit, because this Pokemon actually learns Drain Punch, and Drain Punch may be your physical attack. Now, this Pokemon also learns Close Combat, which is also very important. So, once again, you have two ways of playing Mega Emboar, in my opinion, that is, just as a first look on this Pokemon. You either have a Mega Emboar that just goes all out on the offensive, okay? All out on the offensive, boom, boom, Adamant, and you just wreck stuff until this Pokemon goes down by its own Flare Blitz recoil, to the point that the opponent doesn't have enough resources because Emboar already demolished all of their resources, and you are fine just giving up Emboar with the last Flare Blitz, because then you have the other Pokemon cleaning up the remainings of the opponent team. Or you can have a Emboar that actually wants to stay a lot on the field and perhaps set up with Bulk Up. Because yes, remember when we talked about how the defense in Mega Emboar is not exceptional? This Pokemon learns Bulk Up. Okay? Now Bulk Up will increase the damage for your Mega Emboar. And with this set especially, you may even not run attack IVs, or at least not too many. Let's, I don't know, put 190 attack because it's a round number. You may even do something like this, mix and match, you know, depending on what you need. This 4 speed stat, those will not be an annoyance. You can do something like this and count on the bulk up, and then you can run protect. Now, in this set, you don't have the opportunity to run a coverage. You may have more space for coverage on the full out attack Emboar. Let's see the coverage this Pokemon may have. Now, you may not exclude the Rain Punch even from the Flare Blitz Close Combat set in order to make Mega Emboar stay a bit more on the field or not get another Close Combat drop to finish off a weakened opposing Pokemon. Earthquake can be decent, but your partner will get it as well, so I don't completely suggest it. You have Facade, but being already a fire type naturally means that you won't fear being burned. You may fear being paralyzed, but I don't know. It has Facade, it's okay. You may run Flame Charge to try and boost up this speed. No, 95 with the boost, let's say 96. 96 with the boost that Flame Charge provides will actually go up to, how much is it, 192? Let me quickly calculate that amount. 96 times 2 equals 192, I was right, which is already a pretty decent speed stat. You know, it may even outspeed base 100 Pokemon, as you can see with Mega Blaziken here. So it's not inherently bad. Now, you learn Thing, but you cannot throw Mega Stones. Of course you cannot. Ignore Focus Punch. Hammer Arm is a weird move, because it will lower your speed in case you need it under Trick Room, but can miss. And you know damn well that if it ain't 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate. So, do you wanna risk losing a Trick Room matchup because you missed Hammer Arm? You didn't hit your target, you didn't get the speed drop? No. Edge Smash is still here, can be a decent coverage against flying types or other opposing fire types. Problem is, has 80% accuracy and has half the recoil. This is way too much. Okay, so you can consider it, but if I recall correctly, this Pokemon, learns Rock Slide, also learns Rock Tomb for speed control. Base Emboar may use Head Smash. Mega Emboar is too risky. Trust me, it's too risky. Hit Crush. Hit Crush is an interesting move on Emboar. Emboar is a very heavy Pokemon. Depending on the meta, because Hit Crush is a move that heavily depends on what's in the meta, because it deals damage if the user is heavier than the target. Now, in the case of Mega Emboar, it may happen often, but not always. There's some Mega Evolutions, especially Pokemon like Mega Metagross, that are very heavy. So giving up the Fire Stab over a move that has so much volatility in terms of base power, it's not what I personally suggest. Other metagames where heavy Pokemon are not common, yeah, sure, go off. This one is no. It also learned Heavy Slam, same thing. Ior's power can actually be your ground type coverage instead of Earthquake. Ironhead, decent coverage against steel, as a steel type, doesn't really eat Pokemon that Emboar cares about eating. It may interest you if your team needs to eat a certain type of Pokemon, such as Fairy types, for example. But I think the real deal is Knock Off. Knock Off is one of the best moves of the game. Removes the item, doesn't remove Mega Evolutions, Mega Stones, Z Crystals, or any of these items, of course. But the Pokemon that do have a item means they need that item, and knocking it off, dealing a lot more damage if they hold it, it's a massive deal. Knockoff did drop a bit in usage when we had both Mega Evolutions and Z Crystals around, because at minimum 2 out of 6 Pokemon on the opposing team didn't have an item that could be knocked off. The only Pokemon that used this was like Incineroar and a few other. But yeah, we may have in Pokemon Champions metagames where Z Crystals and Mega Stones are there together. So we may see a drop. In that case, you can give Mega Emboar other coverage moves such as Sucker Punch. It has Stomping Tantrum, which is a ground type move that doesn't miss, unlike Ice Power. Poison Jab if needed, we already talked about Rock Slide. Low Kick, same, has Heavy Slam and Need Crash. Never use Super Power anymore, never. Because now it nerfs close combat. Never use Super Power unless this Pokemon is contrary. And then we have Temper Flare, which is basically Stomping Tantrum, but Fire type. This may be useful, but at that point, you run Stomping Tantrum and Flare Blitz, you have more safety. Stomping Tantrum is the coverage. If it fails, it's okay. The important is having the max out of your stabs. And stop, it has Trailblaze, but it already learns Flame Charge. You can give Trailblaze to have a bit of coverage against certain types, such as Water, Rock, and Ground. It has Wild Charge, again, Water, Flying. Depends if there's actually strong Pokemon that need to be checked by Emboar and not by another member, Zenhead, and then you have other moves such as Gyro Ball and whatever. So yeah, the moves here are varied. But as I said, you may choose between 2 versions of Mega Emboar, which is an all-out attacker, you know, Freak It, Weeball, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Knock Off, whatever it eats, something is going down. Or you can run a bulkier version, a slightly slower version that prefers setting up Drain Punch, Fire Punch, you know, dealing damage over time, staying on the field for a lot of time, you know, that kind of deal. Again, this Pokemon is very similar to how you wanna play Raging Bolt. Not entirely, but the playstyle is probably going to be very close to that. And now that we covered both moves, stats, and coverage, who are going to be the teammates of this Pokemon? Well, we talked about how this Pokemon is very balanced between the Tailwind and the Trick Room, between the spectrum of speeds. This means it may actually be pretty difficult to instantly point out as a first look without an actual meta to look at. It may be a bit more difficult to point out the actual members of a possible Mega Emboar team. You may wanna run some very powerful speed control. So I'm talking about a Pokemon that has Tailwind, of course, and preferably that also has other moves if you wanna go full support for Mega Emboar, such as Icy Wind. Unfortunately, not many Pokemon are blessed with this couple. Not many good Pokemon, that is. You can see here there's Tornadus, which is probably going to be one of the best. Suicune. Suicune did see some play as a very bulky support water type, so you can have Snarl, Icy Wind, Tailwind, as I said, and then Scald if you need it. Then you have Macro, which is probably another one of the best users of this combination. You can Tailwind, you can Icy Wind, and then you control the speed to your liking. Okay, whereas the Trick Room side, if you need a Trick Room side, there's also plenty of users that can actually give Emboar a chance to win. One that I wanna point out is Comfy. Why do I wanna point out Comfy? The ability triage, especially with this all-out Emboar, but even this one, Comfy may be very good with Trick Room and stuff like Floral Healing, which is the peculiar move of Comfy, because it basically will heal Emboar with a +3 priority, basically making Emboar's durability even higher, and it's already decently high. This Pokemon used to learn Tailwind. I think it got it back in Gen 8. Yeah, we are in Regulation I. So yeah, I did get Tailwind back. Also, Draining Kiss is just a very powerful move with Triage because, again, +3 priority. So you can run it with a Pokemon like Comfy to support Mega Emboar. You may even not need to run any speed because you're going to set up Trick Room, but Comfy doesn't need Trick Room when you have Triage, so that's okay. You may run a lot of these Pokemon. You may run a more normal Trick Room setup. Depends on the meta, depends on who is legal. Cresselia with its new move, which is the how it's called, the Lunar Blessing, yeah. User and allies healed a quarter of HP, status cured. This is very good. Once again, Trick Room, Icy Wind, can do anything. Very good in balanced teams. Other Pokemon with Trick Room, other than the obvious Atterrini and company. You may have Farigiraf, Fluttermane also there's Icy Wind, but Trick Room and Fluttermane, go to tell. There is quite the options, and this is all just if you wanna have a team that fully supports either style of Mega Emboar. Other teams you may wanna see Mega Emboar are teams with perhaps another Mega Evolution or another very powerful sweeper without being a Mega. Let's throw out an example. Let's pick up Mega Salamence. Okay, you have a team with Mega Salamence that, mind you, is also a Tailwind setter with the original ability Intimidate, but it's not what we need to talk right now. You have your Salamence team, big dragon, big damage. You run against a Trick Room team, an Art Trick Room team, and you say, oh no, my team is all towards being fast, playing under Tailwind, whatever will I do. I still want a Mega Evolution to support me under Trick Room. You put a Pokemon like Mega Emboar and you may fix your problem. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Some of you may say, bro, there may be other Pokemon, not Mega Evolutions or other Mega Evolution that we still haven't covered, that may work better than Mega Emboar in this situation. Perhaps, but we're talking about Mega Emboar here. When it will come the time to talk about those other Mega Evolutions, whether they're better, whether they're worse, we will talk about them, and when the meta champions will actually drop, we will see the results. This is all a first impression on each new Mega Evolution and the possibilities it brings to the table. Okay, just wanted to point it out because some people may rightfully so be like, doesn't convince me, but this is all first look at the possibilities of the new buffs coming with Mega Evolutions for this Pokemon. So yeah, you have a lot of variety with this Pokemon, not only in the moves you actually have available. Big setup, very bulky, very resistant, hangs out a lot on the field, does damage all around, with a pretty decent coverage because fire and fighting, despite all the memes, it's a very good typing. You can go all out attacker, flare blitz, close combat, knock off, protect, and just demolish things as they enter the field because why not? Supported by a correct supporting cast, of course. You can play it under Tailwind and then support it with Icy Wind, Psychic types, with Foul Play or Snarl, up to you. Obviously macro with either Eviolite or Focus Sash. This depends a lot. Even Cover Clock. That looks familiar. Cover Clock in case we don't get Terra Crystallization right away, and if we do, you can hit Terra Ghost. And at that point you can hit like Sash or Eviolite, depends if you have the Sash free or not, of course with Prankster. You support Mega Emboar like this, Tailwind, Icy Wind, Foul Play, Snarl, you do little chips, you drop special attacks, you make physical attackers scared to enter, all of that good stuff. You either support it and heal it, you support it and heal it, you speed control it, you play it to compensate another sweeper or another Mega Evolution. For example, another sweeper, I don't know, let's say, perhaps not an Ember, I don't know, you wanna cover for a Fluttermane. Oh man, I cannot bring Fluttermane in this matchup, said nobody ever, but this is an example. I cannot bring Fluttermane in this matchup because it's too hard to actually stop the Trick Room. You bring Mega Emboar and you just stay there and play it out like that. So, this is what we can say about Mega Emboar currently. Let me know in the comments what you think about Mega Emboar, if you agree or disagree. If you have other plays, other team members or other moves you wanna play on Mega Emboar and with Mega Emboar, thank you for watching and goodbye.